Hi everyone, this is NLP Corgi. Today's deep dive is about the paper from Beihang University. Does your reasoning model implicitly know when to stop thinking? Modern reasoning models often solve complex tasks by generating long chains of thought. But longer reasoning does not always mean better reasoning. In fact, many models produce thousands of tokens that add little value to the final answer. These redundant steps waste compute, slow down real-time systems, and sometimes even hurt accuracy. This raises a simple but important question. Do reasoning models actually know when they should stop thinking? The key insight of this paper is surprisingly simple. When we sample many possible reasoning paths, some of them reach the correct answer much faster than others. That means the model already contains efficient reasoning strategies. The problem is that our current inference methods usually fail to select them. Efficient reasoning exists inside the model, but it is hidden by how we sample outputs. In typical inference, we rely on pass at one, meaning we sample a single reasoning trajectory and use that answer. But when researchers sample many trajectories, known as pass at k, they often discover that shorter reasoning chains already solve the problem. The model knew the answer earlier, but the sampling strategy kept generating extra tokens. This suggests that models may implicitly know when to stop, but our decoding strategies do not let them act on that knowledge. To measure this phenomenon, the authors analyze where the correct answer first appears in a reasoning trajectory. They find that models often derive the correct result early but continue thinking for hundreds of additional tokens. Across multiple models and tasks, more than half of correct answers contain unnecessary reasoning steps after the solution has already been found. So the model can solve the problem early, but it does not know when to stop. Here is a concrete example. The model correctly computes the answer after about 500 tokens. But instead of finishing, it continues producing another 400 tokens of redundant explanation and verification. The final answer does not change. This illustrates the central inefficiency. Models often know the answer but keep thinking anyway. The authors observe something important. When reasoning branches are selected based on overall confidence, measured using cumulative log probability, they tend to be both shorter and more accurate. In other words, the model assigns higher confidence to concise reasoning paths. If we prioritize those paths during exploration, we can uncover efficient reasoning that normal sampling misses. Another fascinating observation emerges from the analysis. When a reasoning path is globally confident, the model also becomes confident about ending the reasoning process. But standard token-level sampling focuses only on the next token probability. That means it may miss sequences where the overall reasoning trajectory is strong, but the stop token itself is not the single most probable next token. To exploit this insight, the authors propose SAGE, self-aware guided efficient reasoning. Instead of expanding tokens one by one, SAGE explores multiple reasoning steps at each stage. It keeps several candidate reasoning paths and ranks them by their overall confidence. When the model signals that a reasoning chain should end, SAGE accepts that path as a valid solution. This allows the model to surface concise reasoning trajectories that were previously hidden. The authors go one step further with SAGE RL. During reinforcement learning training, they mix SAGE-generated reasoning chains with normal random samples. Because SAGE often produces shorter and more accurate solutions, these trajectories receive higher rewards. Over time, the policy learns to generate efficient reasoning directly, even during standard pass-at-one inference. The method is evaluated on several widely used reasoning models, ranging from small distilled models to strong open models like Qwen 8 billion. The experiments cover challenging math reasoning benchmarks including AMY, Math 500, Olympiad Bench, and AMC. The authors measure not only accuracy, but also response length and token efficiency, essentially how much reasoning compute is required per correct answer. The results show a clear pattern. SAGE RL improves accuracy while dramatically reducing reasoning length. On average, models achieve about 2% higher accuracy, while using roughly 44% fewer tokens. Compared with other methods that compress reasoning, SAGE RL manages to increase performance instead of sacrificing it. Another interesting result comes from scaling experiments. As SAGE explores more reasoning paths, both accuracy and efficiency improve. The model increasingly converges toward concise reasoning trajectories. These benefits are especially pronounced on harder datasets, where discovering the right reasoning path matters the most. The main takeaway is surprisingly optimistic. Reasoning models already contain efficient reasoning strategies. The challenge is not capability, but how we sample their outputs. By exploring reasoning paths with confidence-guided search, SAGE reveals concise solutions that were previously hidden. And with reinforcement learning, models can learn to generate these efficient reasoning patterns naturally.